as well. Uh, okay, we are live on YouTube too. Okay, so we're trying to do two live streams at the same time. Hello, everyone. Today, I would like to talk a little bit more about my first week. Last week, Yon and I we announced this new crazy challenge that I picked up for myself. The challenge is to speak 20 languages before I turn 30. My birthday was last week, so in 52 or 51 weeks, I'll be turning 30, and hopefully by that time, I'll be able to speak 20 languages. Now, today, I would like to go into more details about what I really mean when I say being able to speak 20 languages, because obviously different people have different opinions on what it really means to be able to speak uh, a language. And I see here that on Instagram the video was paused, but it looks like I'm back. So at any rate, so my goal is to be able to hold a conversation with a native speaker for 30 minutes, a spontaneous conversation. So that means that, well, obviously the first 5 minutes will be where you're from, what's your name, like will be very easy, like basic stuff. But then after the first 5 minutes, the conversation can go anywhere, right? So hopefully I'll be able to hold a spontaneous conversation for 30 minutes in all these 20 languages. I haven't seen anyone doing this or something like this here on YouTube or Instagram. So if you guys know someone who has done that before, please let me know. If no one has done that before, I think it might be a pretty interesting challenge. And well, we'll see if I will be able to achieve the goal. Now, I must admit that I'm actually quite worried about some languages, and now I will tell about these languages now because I'm not quite sure if it's actually doable. Because in order to hold a conversation for 30 minutes in a language, I believe that you need to achieve a B1, B2 level. Now, what does that mean in practice? Well, I think that in practice, that means having an active vocabulary of 5,000 words and a passive vocabulary of 10, 15,000 words. I think it depends a little bit on the language. So, for example, for languages that are similar to the language that I speak well. For example, Spanish is very similar to Portuguese, so I can do a lot of guessing when speaking Spanish because of Portuguese. I can rely on Portuguese, but when well, when we're talking about Chinese, then everything is different, right? Everything is new. This week I learned how to say Moscow and New York in Chinese. I don't remember trying to learn the name of cities or the name of countries in while learning other languages. But in Chinese, everything is well, from scratch, right? I had to learn that New York apparently is, if I'm not mistaken, is New Yue, and then Moscow is Moscow or something along something like this. But at any rate, so yeah, depending on the language, I think that the amount of words that I will have to have in my active vocabulary will change, but it'll be roughly around, well, between 3,000 and 5,000, and then I hope to have 10 from 10 between 10 and 15,000 words in my passive vocabulary, so that I can understand well what the other person is saying. Now, so this is the goal, and well, let me go ahead and talk a little bit about what I have done this first week. I see here there are a lot of comments, and I hope I will have time, and not only time, but also be able to answer your questions. Um, Thank you very much for writing all these comments and waving. Well, I'm waving you guys back. Yeah, let me go ahead and tell you what the 20 languages will be, because this is I think that this is the question that I get the most. What will be the 10 languages that you are going to learn? So, well, obviously, let me just tell you the language. Anyway, at any rate, I think that people on YouTube cannot hear me very well because my microphone is, maybe if I put my microphone here, they'll be able to hear me a little bit better. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Anyway, so I believe that there are 10 languages now that I if I had to shoot these videos tomorrow, I think I would be ready already. These languages are Portuguese, my native language, English, Spanish, Russian, German, French, Polish, Italian, Ukrainian, and Finnish. So these are 10 languages that, well, I'm not claiming that I speak them perfectly or fluently, but these are languages that if I had to shoot a 30-minute video, if I had to take an interview, or if I had to give an interview in any of these languages, I think I would feel pretty comfortable with these 10 languages. Then I have 5 languages that I have been studying, and but they are definitely not at a B1 or B2 level. And these 5 languages are, well, Chinese, Mandarin Chinese, Dutch, Thai, Norwegian, and Estonian. Now, I would like to talk a little bit more about each of these languages because um, I would like to give you guys some background story for each of these languages, and you tell you where I am at in each of these languages. So Chinese, I have been studying Chinese now for, I think, for a year, and I think Chinese is probably the hardest language I have ever tried to learn. Because, as I said before, everything is new. You need to learn the tones, you need to learn the characters. Then all the words are different. The grammar is not easy. I see a lot of people saying that Chinese grammar is easy. Well, it's not easy at all. Um, and I think that because in Chinese you don't have short and long vowels, it's also very difficult to understand when people speak Chinese. Like, for example, I have I find it much easier to understand Thai. Like both Chinese and Thai, they are uh, Asian languages, and they both have tones. But I find it much easier to understand Thai because they have short and long vowels. They have more. They have 5 tones, whereas Chinese has only 4. So it's easier to pick up the differences and different words. And in Chinese, everything sounds pretty much the same. So yeah, I have been learning. I have been studying Mandarin for about a year now. Now, since April, I have been counting the amount of minutes that I spent speaking these languages, so that I can also, well, keep myself accountable. So for Mandarin, I think I did quite a lot this first week. So since I started counting in April, I have spoken 825 minutes of Chinese, and just this last week I did 435 minutes. So basically now I'm taking classes every day. I think this is the only way I'll be able to get to a B2 level before I turn 30. Um, so I've been taking classes every day, and I've been using Link as well, so I can also practice reading. And I think that now I might know about 500 characters, or when I say I know, I mean I can recognize about 500 characters, and so I can already read simple texts. Here are my statistics. If I look at my statistics, I have 1,370 words
uh, in my active vocabulary. So how do I count these words? Well, I have a list of words that I study using Anki, and I have learned all these 1,370 words. These are words that I can use, and hopefully I will be able to bring that number to 3,000, 5,000. So that was Mandarin. Then we have Dutch. Dutch is a language that I started learning many years ago, actually, with Jan, and but I never really used Dutch, and my Dutch never got to a point where I felt comfortable speaking the language. Yes, because it's similar to both English and German. I can, well, hold simple conversations, but I'm nowhere close to a B2 level. And here, according to my statistics, I have 830 words in my active vocabulary. Again, I will try to bring that number to 3,000. And unfortunately, this week I haven't spoken any Dutch. I need to find a way to incorporate Dutch in my weekly routine. I think the plan now, because I'm so busy learning mainly Chinese, Thai, and one other language that I will talk about a little bit later. I think that the game plan now will be just listen to Dutch content more often. So I have found some interesting podcasts on Link. I think that the game plan will be just listening to these podcasts in Dutch. Then we move on and we have, what is the next language? The next language is Thai. Well, I live in Thailand now. I have been living here for over a year now. I have been studying Thai for about a year, and now I'm also speaking Thai every day. Uh, if I look here at my statistics, this week I spoke a lot of Thai, 918 minutes. I think with Thai now, I'm getting to the point where I'm getting close to a B1 level. I think. Um, Obviously, it will be easier to judge if I shoot a video with a Thai native speaker. But now when I talk to Thai people, I can understand almost everything they say, and I can say what I can say almost everything I want, but I'm still not at the level where they can just speak fluent Thai, because they need to slow down. They need to dumb down a little bit for me to understand. They need to use simple language so that we can engage in a conversation. So, but I'm pretty hopeful for Thai. I will keep studying and also practicing and speaking a lot of Thai. Then the next language is Norwegian. I think 7 years ago, I went to Norway, and I refused to speak English there. And the very first thing I learned in Norwegian was what was it again? Jeg tror at norsk er et veldig vanskelig språk, men det er veldig vanskelig å overbevise nordmenn til å snakke norsk med meg. Which basically means, yes, Norwegian is a difficult language, but I think what is really hard is convincing Norwegians to talk to me in Norwegian because their English is so good. And while I was in Norway, I spent 3 weeks in Norway. I completely refused to speak English, and I learned quite a lot of Norwegian at that time. I went there to see the Northern Lights, but after that, I haven't used my Norwegian much. I think I'm probably at a A1 level now. So yeah, I can actually look here at my stats. I have, yeah, 540 words in my active vocabulary. But because Norwegian is a Germanic language, I understand quite a lot. And here the video is paused again, is reconnecting, and now we're back. Okay, so because Norwegian is a Germanic language, I understand quite a lot, especially if I'm reading Norwegian. So it will be definitely a challenge, but I'm not too concerned about Norwegian because I think I'll be able to learn Norwegian much faster than, for example, Thai um, or Mandarin. Then the 15th language is Estonian. I have been now doing a language exchange with a very good friend of mine from Estonia. Her name is. I have tried to do language exchange with many people, and I think this is well. I also did a language exchange with a Chinese friend, and we were doing Chinese and Spanish, and that also went pretty well. She was very hardworking, and she was learning Spanish very quickly. And now with Grete, we have been meeting every week. We do 25 minutes Estonian and 25 minutes Portuguese. That's not much. That's only 25 minutes of his speaking practice. But I have been doing it regularly for almost a year now. So I have just reached 1,000 words in my well active vocabulary list. And now, well, I think that I'm almost getting to the point where I could try to have a conversation in Estonian for 30 minutes, like a spontaneous conversation. I understand. I don't understand Estonian very well, even though Estonian is related to Finnish. They're really. I think that they're really different. It's not like Portuguese and Spanish or Russian and Ukrainian. I think that Finnish and Estonian are quite different. So I still have a hard time understanding. But I feel more and more that I can, well, that I can say more and more. Still with a lot of mistakes. I still make a lot of mistakes because, in Estonian, they have these 14, 15 cases. And I believe that the case system in Estonian is much harder than the one in Finnish. Maybe another day I can tell you guys why I think that the Estonian cases are more difficult than the Finnish ones. But for now, yes, I'm struggling with a genitive case, with a partitive case. When I speak Estonian, the word order is weird, but having said that, I think that I'm making progress, and I think that 1 year will be enough to. I believe I'll be able to get to the B2 level. Okay, so these were the 15 languages that will be in the challenge for sure. So let me go and repeat them. So Portuguese, English, Spanish, Russian, German, French, Polish, Italian, Ukrainian, Finnish, Mandarin, Dutch, Thai, Norwegian, and Estonian will be these languages will be in the challenge for sure. And then I have 5 languages. I need to learn 5 new languages from scratch. Earlier this week, I was talking to a polyglot friend. She's a very good friend of mine. And when I told her, yeah, I'm going to learn 5 new languages this year, and I want to learn. I want to learn how to speak 20 languages before I turn 30. She said, "Look, cause I don't want to say her name because I don't know if I should say her name or not." But she said, "You're insane! Like five new languages in 5 new languages in 1 year. That's gonna be tough." And yes, I actually agree with her. I think it's gonna be tough. Um, so so far, I have chosen only one completed new language, which is, I don't know if you guys can guess. Maybe I can give you a chance to guess. I have started studying this language 2 months ago, and I'm just in love with this language. I really like this language. I think it's my favorite language now. Maybe I can check here in the comments um, if someone can guess what language this is. Oh, I haven't seen that there were so many comments here. Okay, maybe I should put the camera like this so that it will be easier to read the comments. So the language is Armenian. Hayeren. I have been studying Armenian now for about 2 months, and I'm just in love with this language. I really like this language. Let me just check here all my stats. Yeah, so I spoke 178 minutes of Armenian only this week, and I think that I have just reached 500 words in my active vocabulary. So I think I'm making quite a lot of progress in Armenian, and this is because I really like the language. And then so Armenian is the language number 16, and then I have other 4 languages to choose, and I don't know what language to pick. Some of you guys told me that I should continue learning Hebrew. Last year, or maybe 2 years ago, I did a 1 month learning Hebrew project, and well, I didn't get very far. But I have a very good friend of mine, Fabrizio, who is also from Brazil, and he keeps telling me you should learn Hebrew. Hebrew is such a cool language. So yeah, I might do Hebrew. Then of course Croatian could also be an option. I have some experience with Croatian, also Bulgarian. I also have some experience with Bulgarian. So these 2 languages wouldn't be entirely from scratch. I have studied them for a while in the past, but because I completely stopped using them, they got rusty. Then I could maybe try Romanian. Romanian is also a Romance language that shouldn't be too tricky. And then we have, I don't know, Greek, which would be a very interesting language to learn, and also Turkish. Last year I studied Turkish for 10 weeks with Fabrizio. We did a mini challenge, and I must say that Turkish is quite tricky, especially the word order. So I'm not so sure if I should go for Turkish, because it's a very difficult language. But yeah, we will see. So the only language that I know for sure that will be in the challenge is Armenian. I mean, for these 5 last languages, and we will see. Now let me just go ahead and check if there are any questions. I see that Lucine is also here watching us. Lucine is my Armenian teacher. Barev Lucine. I see here a lot of waves. Thank you guys for joining me here today. Let me check. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, please let me know. Let me also check here on YouTube if we have any questions. It's quite tricky to do a live on YouTube and on Instagram at the same time. Here, I am a native of Russian. I find your Russian really cool and fluent. Andrei, спасибо большое. Oh, I see actually that there are a lot of questions here that I missed on YouTube. Let me check them here. Bon dia, guten tag, bonjour, buongiorno. Hello. Once I tried learning Dutch, but unfortunately I couldn't find someone to speak to, so I stopped. But I still think it's a beautiful language. I agree. I think that Dutch is is a beautiful language. This is also a language that I really like how that sounds. Some people say that it sounds too harsh. I think that sounds quite sexy, to be honest. Especially the h sound. Yeah, I like that. And indeed, yeah, Dutch is the language itself is not too difficult. I think the problem, just like with Norwegian, is convincing the native speakers to talk to you in Dutch and in Norwegian. I just learned Indonesian, Japanese, English, and Dutch. Какой у вас уровень владения русским языком, норвежским и польским? Таня спрашивает. Я думаю, что я могу довольно, ну, естественно, что я допускаю ошибок, но я думаю, что у меня уровень владения русским языком, если честно, я не знаю, но когда я говорю по-русски, я чувствую себя очень комфортно. Я, кстати, в прошлом месяце прочитал три книги на русском, и я думаю, что сейчас это будет как раз то, что я буду делать для того, чтобы поддерживать свой уровень на русском. То есть буду больше читать книги на русском языке. По поводу норвежского, как я сказал по-английски, 7 лет назад я поехал в Норвегию, и я провел там 3 недели, я говорил только на норвежском. То есть я пытался уже с первого дня разговаривать с носителями только по-норвежски, но после этого я просто больше не использовал этого языка, и поэтому я его немножко подзабыл. И польский, я думаю, что сейчас у меня, наверное, ну, какой-то B2 на польском. Let me see here more comments. I learned German and Russian. That's cool. Please recommend some programs for learning Dutch. Well, obviously, I can recommend you our Vocab Booster Dutch. We have this course available if you want to learn Dutch. You go, Lucas. I believe in you. Thank you, Ima. Maybe I could add Swahili in the 20 languages. Actually, I have a friend, my Estonian friend who's doing this language exchange with me. She told me, Lucas, sa peaksid Swahili keelt õppima. That means you should learn Swahili because have all these European languages and all these Asian languages, but you don't have any African languages. She said, "Sa ühtegi Africa keelt rääkida." So like you don't speak any African languages. So I might do some Swahili. I don't know. We'll see. I just joined. What is the 20 language you want to learn? Okay, so some people have just joined now. Let me go real quick and name the languages again. So it will be obviously Portuguese, English, Russian, Spanish, German, French, Polish, Italian, Ukrainian, Finnish, Mandarin, Dutch, Thai, Norwegian, Estonian. Now I have just started learning Armenian, so Armenian will also be there, and then there will be 4 other languages that I will still decide. I still don't know what language I will learn. ¿No has pensado en aprender hindi? Carlos me ha preguntado, ¿no has pensado en aprender hindi? Es que me gustaría mucho aprender hindi porque ahora vivo en Tailandia. En tailandés hay muchas palabras que vienen de sánscrito y pali. Entonces, bueno, y ahora también estoy aprendiendo armenio. Creo que hindi sería como es la mitad del camino, ¿no? Me gustaría mucho aprender hindi porque creo que aprendiendo hindi bueno, no me gustaría aprender sánscrito porque sánscrito ya no se habla, pero me gustaría mucho aprender hindi porque eso me ayudaría a entender mejor todas las palabras más complejas del del tailandés. Porque todas las palabras difíciles del tailandés vienen del sánscrito. Fabrício diz coreano. Fabrício diz coreano, não sei, vamos ver. Coreano é uma língua difícil, não sei se será possível aprender coreano. Will you learn Indonesian? You know, I can say a few things in Indonesian, but saya tidak tahu. I have spent 3 weeks in Bali, and I picked up some Indonesian, but I guess I won't be learning Indonesian. Here I have a message in Swahili. Ndio tafadhali niko hapa. Yeah, maybe we'll learn some Swahili. Tem algum país que você deseja ir para praticar alguma língua que você estuda? Bom, o Fabrício aqui pergunta, né? Nessa época de lockdown, não sei. Eu estou, por hora, eu estou na Tailândia. Não sei se será possível ir para outros países, eu realmente não sei. Eu estava pensando em talvez visitar a Armênia e praticar a Armênia. Não sei. Você, Lucas, para você, nativo de português, qual o mais difícil, Swedish or Russian? I haven't studied Swedish, but I have studied. The question is in Portuguese. Let me answer in Portuguese. Qual língua mais difícil, sueco ou russo? Eu não estudei sueco, mas eu estudei norueguês. Russo, com certeza, 100% absoluta certeza, russo é mais difícil. What else? Still wondering how on earth you will have the time. Angie, greetings. If anyone can, though, you can. Thank you for supporting me. Rodrigo, você já pensou em estudar vietnamita? Não, nunca pensei em estudar vietnamita. Recomenda quais apostilas para estudar sueco? Não tenho nenhuma recomendação para sueco. What do you think about Serbo-Croatian? I think it's a very interesting language. I also think that Serbo-Croatian is, you know what? I will say that Serbo-Croatian is the hardest Slavic language because the intonation is really tricky. And, you know, like in almost all Slavic languages, I think that Polish is an exception, but in most Slavic languages, the stress, you never know where the stress falls. But in Serbo-Croatian, you obviously have that problem. And besides that, the melody of the language is really tricky. And now that they want to separate, you know, like have Croatian and Serbian and Bosnian, they want to separate the languages. I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but I don't want to talk politics now. But yeah, it's a language that I would consider adding on the challenge. Lau e Thai são muito semelhantes? Rodrigo pergunta. Agora que eu falo um pouco de tailandês, quando eu escuto Lau, eu consigo sim entender alguma coisa. Eu não sei se é tão parecido quanto, por exemplo, português e espanhol, mas sim, são muito semelhantes. Eric pergunta, as eslavas curtem caras mais morenos? Boa pergunta, eu acho que sim. What method will you use for learning those languages, and how long do you think the challenge would be? Well, the challenge will last for 1 year, so I want to finish this challenge before I turn 30 years old. So yes, one year, and I'll be talking more about the method I'll be using in the next video. Let me check here now on Instagram if I have any questions. I don't see any questions for now. Guys, I think that was it for today. Thank you very much for joining me here on Instagram and on YouTube. If you have more questions, please write them in the comments, and I'll get back to you. I see here a question. I didn't hear which language do you know very good now, Elvira. Well, I said that I feel pretty comfortable speaking English, Spanish, Russian, German, French. I think these are the languages that I feel that I feel more comfortable speaking. Yes, guys, that was it. Олег, Олег, спасибо. Это, конечно, очень хороший комплимент. All right, guys, that was it for today. Спасибо всем. Obrigado, gracias, merci, cese, Kopkon Crab, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye. Okay, so we end here and the video, and here how we go and stream.